The next major step for full-scale digital ID just took place. Apple has announced that their iPhone will now have digital ID. What does this mean? The Apple iPhone digital ID is just going to be a digital representation of your US passport. Let me take you through it. So with Apple's iPhone, you would essentially load on your US passport into the Wallet app, and it'll also be accessible on your Apple Watch. This basically allows US passport holders to create digital identity credential based on your passport information. So this is a digital identity credential. It's not yet going to be connected to all that you are, all the info data, your history, your financial transactions yet. This is just a digital credential based on your passport info. But again, it's another major step towards the coming control grid. When users actually do this, iPhone users do this, step one is you're going to scan your passport photo page, and that's also going to read the embedded microchip in your passport. If you didn't know already, there's an embedded microchip in every US passport. The second step is it'll give you a facial scan. So your biometric authentication. It's going to scan your face from different angles. It's going to require you to do different head movements. This is the step of collecting biometric data, giving it to a private company like Apple. Users then can present their digital ID at in-person checkpoints. For example, over 250 US airports. Right now is only for domestic travel, not international. If you do international, you are required to have your physical passport in hand. So the digital ID on the Apple iPhone, they say it's encrypted and it's just stored on your device. Apple says that they cannot see when or where your ID is being used. Again, that's their claim, but how often do we trust what tech companies tell us about our data and how they protect it or what they can see or not see? This all plays in, again, to Agenda 2030, the digital legal identity. So they are trying to go for identities that are managed, verified, used digitally for access to our own rights and services. Okay, this goes back to what I said. If you step out of line with anything that the current regime in power or the global regime says is out of line, they can shut you down for access to bank accounts, to food, things like that. That's where we're going. This Apple digital ID is a major step to eventually fully replace physical IDs with digital. It's going to normalize this digital ID for so many normies who are just going to sign up and do it, right? It's so much easier. Just put your identification onto your phone. So right now, Apple's digital ID remains privatized. It's device specific. It has limited scope for implementation. But again, this aligns in spirit with the broader Agenda 2030 digital ID control grid. These are incremental steps. They're not just going to put the cage around you right away. It's going to be little incremental steps. Get you used to little things piece by piece. And as you take those little baby steps, you get used to the cage being put around you. One more big step towards full-scale digital ID, where all the individual's life history, info, data, their financial records, everything is all connected. It's not there yet. But again, this is another step towards that. These are the questions this raises. Will digital-only IDs become standard and people required to use them? We've seen this. This is what happens, right? We normalize something, it becomes a standard, and then all of a sudden it's forced upon us to that's the only way to do it from now on. Who controls the ecosystem and the infrastructure of this? Right now, it's a private corporation, Apple. But government has talked about doing this. And of course, we have the ever-present evil public-private partnership where the public entity, the government, gives permission to a private corporation to store all your data and manage all of this through government contracts, which is most likely what is going to happen. The government will partner with these big entities like Google, Apple, Palantir, you name it, these big AI companies to manage all of our data, connect all the railways together of the infrastructure that's being laid so that your one big massive digital ID, the culmination of one of the pieces of Agenda 2030, is all connected down with your past, your history, your financial records, your schooling records, your health records, everything. Go take a look at some of my other digital ID videos for information about this. The last question, of course, is what legal safeguards will there be to protect against misuse, data breaches, tracking, exclusion, or blocking from services? These kind of issues will come up before there's any kind of legal framework in place. And that's what's happening. This technology is moving so fast. They're pushing these incremental steps so fast that it won't give our legislative process time to catch up for actual legislation that might protect each individual. This is the way that government will actually circumvent the law in order to control us through private corporations and our access to public services and private services. I would say the Apple Digital ID is a digital representation of a state or government issued identification. It's not yet connected fully to the full infrastructure and all the rail lines that they're putting together through these AI databases. So they can't quite shut you out of certain services if you did the digital ID on Apple, but it is coming. Again, major step towards that process as we take these little steps towards this dystopian, totalitarian future.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. Welcome back to another episode. All right, digital ID in your phone. All right, fair use, fair use. This video is only for educational purposes only. All right, copyright disclaimer 1976. All right, and you saw what this guy is talking about. Right now I'm on the beloved Elder Apostle Taha's channel. All right, GMS. Let me pull it up here. What is the mark? What is the 666 Mark II? GMS Truth, right? Subscribe to be edified. All right, this is where I got the video from, and he took it from brother Yashalon, out there in New York, GMS Watchman. All right, and that's what we are. We are watchmen. I mean, when we see what's going on, what's happening, in terms of in the world, according to prophecy, we filter through the scriptures and let you know what time it is. All right, and that's the command that we've been given. All right, in fact, let me read one precept, to bring that out. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 62. And verse 6, it says what? I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Right? Ye that make mention of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, what? Keep not silence through all the attempts by these devils to shut down our channels, delete our videos. All right, we're not keeping silence. We out here, we telling you, thus says the Lord, and what this means. Right, this digital ID, what it means, all right, to you, and according to prophecy. All right, verse 7 says, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So Jerusalem ain't a praise in the earth yet. So guess what? We had to give the Lord no rest. Right? We're going to continue doing this work and pushing the work and hastening the coming of the Lord. All right? Hastening the coming of the Lord. So here you see the digital wallet, they want to put in the Apple iPhone. They're saying that basically it's not going to be able to see what you're going to do, what transactions, which is a damn lie. We know that they're going to be capturing everything. All right? Forget the devil is a liar. All right? Esau Edom is a liar. As soon as he born, he go astray, speaking lies. Isaiah 50, what is it? 50. Let me see if I can find this. This is Psalms. In fact, let me go here. Just bear with me a moment here. Just bear with me a moment here. I'll find it. Alright. So that's what this devil does. He's a master liar. His heart is deep. He sit down, and he plan all this shit. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna do it? In fact, I'm gonna go here first. 8 and 44. It say, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. This is the Lord speaking about the wicked jakes, right? He says he was a murderer from the beginning. Who's that speaking about? Cain, who was the father of all the spiritual line of Esau. All right, Esau Edom. The so-called white man who is the devil, according to the scriptures. Right? He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. Right? When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. It's like Trump. I believe he said in one of them videos, is it a movie, The Apprentice? Basically, he have his own truth. Which truth is that? Everybody have a truth. These fucking devils are a liar. No, there's only one truth. All right? This is John 8 and 45. It says, and because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. And this is what it is. Our own people, 2/3 of them in America, and, the wicked jakes around the world, they don't believe us because we tell them the truth. They rather believe the lies of the devil. And the devil, Esau Edom, his power, one of his powers is those lies. All right, Revelation, is it 20? And 7, that's when they came out of the Caucasus Mountain. That's what they did. It says, Satan, you see heading here, Satan freed and doomed. Right, it says verse 7, Revelation 20 and 7. And when the 1,000 years expired, that's the 1,000 years, they were up in the Caucasus Mountains, dragging the knuckles. Right, that's the Edomites. That's what they call the Caucasians, the Caucasus, in the Caucasus caves, Caucasus Mountains. They were up there in the caves. You know, they're so-called, they say where they get the so-called Neanderthal bullshit from. Right, they are the fucking Neanderthals. It says, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to what? To deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth. So this is what Esau Edom is good at doing, deceiving. All right, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to the battle, of whom the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And when you go into 2 Thessalonians 2, guess what it tells you? The same thing. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, which is being revealed right now by the prophets, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. They're being consumed by the word that we preaching, which the prophets preaching. All right. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. When Yahushua comes, it's all over. All right, for Esau and his kingdom. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. You see that? Lying wonders. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And what did the Lord do to them? He says, and for this cause, power shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. So they're going to believe the lie that they're not going to be tracking your data. They're not going to be doing those things. They're going to be encrypted. Oh, full of bullshit. And these private companies have been hired by the government and through government contracts for a long time. You know, big AI companies, all these things like that, they're tracking all your data. All your records there. You know, all your records there, your schooling, your health, everything there. Fair use, as I said before. Everything's there. All right? They have all your information. That's what Facebook is about. That's what all these other apps are about. All right? But these people are going to believe the lie. It says, for this cause power shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness, because it's going to result in you being implanted with the MOTB, the RFR to the FID, microchip. All right, because the guy was talking about the US passport, all right, and how it has an embedded chip in it. All right, so what do you think they're gonna do? All right, what do you think they're gonna do? Okay, so when you misbehave, you know, and you do what they deem to be wrong, they're gonna shut you down. Total control. And you know, they've been gradually working up to this point, putting the chip in the debit cards, credit card, all you name it. You know, through these incremental and gradual steps as the guy was going into. All right, but now, you know, they're really moving fast. They're building that cage around you. You know, and before before you know it, you know, you're gonna be enclosed. You're gonna be enclosed. All right, that's what's gonna happen. But the devil is moving fast because what? Yeah, this agenda 2030, and really they have to get this thing done before 2030. All right, and they know it. They're not gonna tell you that, but they're gonna move really quick now. This is Revelation 12 and verse 12. It says what? Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Right, the heavens, the rulership, as Esau. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you. We just read in 2 Thessalonians that they are the ones, you know, who like after Satan, who come after Satan, the devil. All right. You know, it says, verse 9, remember here it reads, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan. Right, there you have it. All right, there you have it. So this is talking about these wicked people. It's not speaking about the spiritual demon Satan, Lucifer, or what they call Lucifer, which is not his name, Satan. All right, Lucifer just means the enlightened one, illuminated one. All right, it says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. Why? Because he knoweth that he had but a short time. They've been delving into the witchcraft, according to Isaiah, the 47th chapter, the Project Looking Glass, the Yellow Book, you know, and they've been delving into the future. And they know that, you know, it's pretty much inevitable that they're going to come face to face with Yahushua. All right, very soon. And they're trying to change that as much as they do, trying to obtain or, you know, do their dastardly acts and bringing the new world order before 2030. This is what it is. All right, it's a short time. All right, it's a short time. So that, the Lord appointed this bounds, which he cannot pass. So this is why he's pushing it. And he don't have time, as the guy was saying, to go into legislation. And to go on legislation takes a while, has to be reviewed. No, a lot of times they're going to do this through what executive orders, like what Trump has been doing. All right, and it's all a matter of what set new Jakes up for that mark, right? Job chapter 16 and verse 1. In fact, verse 11, it says, power hath delivered me to the ungodly and turned me over into the hands of the wicked, right? It was given into the hands of the wicked, right? I was at ease, but he had broken me asunder. This is what they're doing gradually. Because eventually what the action is to what? To start pulling away these government services, the public services, the private services, from you. If you don't take part in that whole digital ID shit. Right? It says, I was at ease, but he had broken me asunder. Right? He had also taken me by the neck and shaken me to pieces. This is how you do that economically. Right? You can't afford, you can't buy certain things to eat, to drink, to have a shelter over your head. All right? Shaking it to pieces. What? Hyperinflation, all that shit. What? And do what? And set me up for his mark. Put you in that cage, that box, that corral. So it's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You can't get away. All right? And that's exactly what these devils are doing right now. That's what they're doing right now. And they're going to use these celebrities. They're going to use your own people, Jake, to push this thing, and make it appealing to the people. And guess what? They're going to run for it. All right, they're going to run for it. Eventually, they're going to do what? They're going to take that mark. All right, this is Luke 19 and verse, let's start here. Verse 42, it says, and this is Yahushua talking here. It says, in fact, verse 41, it says, and when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it. The city of what? Jerusalem. Yahushua wept over Jerusalem. He said, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee. Right, that's that box. That's that cage. And compass thee round and keep thee in on every side. Right, that's what a cage does. Right, and shall lay thee even to the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. So you ain't going to be doing anything. You're going to be in a mess. Eventually, you're going to take that MOTB, that RFID microchip, and that's the end. That's when the Lord is going to destroy you. That's the dividing line. Okay? So this is a warning. Don't take that C-hip. Don't take that micro C-hip. All right? This is where all of this is leading to. So hey, pray this lesson was edifying. To the next time, Shalom. Be one. Harag Babal. Harag Babal. Shalom.